let's answer this first using the long division. We write it as x squared minus 2x plus 1. Outside will be our x minus 1. X squared divided by x will give us x. Recalling the law of exponents, x squared over x, expanding, this is x times x over x. So x divided by x here will be 1. What's left is x. That's why we have here x. Continue. X times x will give us x squared. X times negative 1 will give us negative x. Proceed. This will give us x minus x squared minus x squared will give us 0. 2x squared, 2x minus x will give us negative x. Now bring down positive 1. What's left here? Let's proceed. Negative x divided by x will give us negative 1. Negative 1 times x will give us negative x. Negative 1 times negative 1 will give us positive 1. This will give us 0. So when we divide x squared minus 2x plus 1 by x minus 1, the answer is x minus 1. This time, let's answer it using the synthetic division. By the way, this is what we call the dividend, and this is our divisor. Let us first consider the numerical coefficient. We will use the numerical coefficient later in the synthetic division. So let's identify the numerical coefficient of this expression. X squared will give us the numerical coefficient of 1, positive 1. Negative 2x has the numerical coefficient of negative 2. And our constant here, just copy, it's positive 1. For our divisor, we will just get the additive inverse. So this will be x is equal to positive 1. In our synthetic division, we use symbols, boxes. So we will have here our divisor, that is 1. We'll write here the numerical coefficient of our dividend, that is 1, negative 2, and positive 1. First step is just bring down the first expression, that is 1. Then the step will be 1 times 1 will give us positive 1. Again, 1 times 1, after bringing down the first term, numerical coefficient of the first term, we multiply it. 1 times 1 is equal to positive 1. Subtract negative 2 minus 1, or combine, will give us negative 1. After having a negative 1 here, let's multiply again. 1 times negative 1 will give us negative 1. And we have here the remainder for the last term is 0. If the remainder is 0, therefore, the divisor is a factor of the dividend. We write the final answer. We write the final answer using this numerical coefficient. Subtract the exponent by 1. So we will just have x, positive 1, understood to have 1. The constant here will be 1. So this is the final answer. Same as with the long division method, we have x minus 1 as our quotient. When you divide something, the answer is called quotient, where the remainder is 0. In this example, let's proceed with synthetic division. So let us first identify the numerical coefficient of our dividend. This will give us 1, 3, negative 5. For our divisor, x will be equal to negative 4. We write it as our divisor here will be negative 4. Let's have the numerical coefficient 1, 3, and negative 5. First thing to do is bring down the first numerical coefficient 1. Then we will have negative 4 times 1 will give us negative 4. Let's add 3 plus negative 4 will give us negative 1. Proceed. Negative 4 times negative 1 will give us positive 4. When we combine, we have the last term, the last value will be negative 1. This will be our remainder. We write the final answer. X negative 1 remainder negative 1. In this given, you need first to rewrite the dividend with the highest exponent. Next, then the constant should be the last term. After rearranging, we have 6x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 1. The highest exponent here is 3. Next is 2. Next is 1. Then we have here the constant. Now let's identify the numerical coefficient. We will have 6, positive 1, negative 4, and the constant 1. For our divisor equals 0, we do it this way. Is equal to positive 1. X is equals to 1 over 3. Our divisor. Now let's proceed with the synthetic division. Again, we have the numerical coefficient of 6, 1, negative 4, and positive 1. So what we did first is we rewrite it properly. Now let's proceed. Bring down the first numerical coefficient, that is 6. Then we will have 1/3 times 6 will give us 2. You may use your calculator to double check. Then we will add. This will give us 3. Let's proceed. We will have 1/3 times 3. That is 1. Add. We will have negative 3. Negative 4 plus 1 will give us negative 3. Proceed again. 1/3 times negative 3 will give us negative 1. 1 plus negative 1 will give us 0. So our remainder here is 0. Now, how do we rewrite this to our final answer? Let's subtract one exponent and proceed to the other. So we will have here 6, but with the exponent of 2 minus 1 from the original. Next is 3, positive 3. This time, just x, or exponent of 1. Then we have the last answer here, negative 3, negative 3. And this will be our constant, the term with no variable. With the remainder is 0. So this will be our final answer or our quotient. Therefore, 3x minus 1 is a factor of our dividend 6x cubed plus x squared minus 4x plus 1. Again, this is our final answer.